This is the StockCast platform, and we are going to look at the data for Amazon using the eye. So we can see this data right here for Amazon. And if we zoom out, this is always the first thing that I do is I like to zoom out and see the big picture. So we can kind of see how these wells have traded in their portfolio. Now, keep in mind, this is their portfolios. This is different from the stock price. So as we can see, like what they're trying to do and accomplish in their portfolios, this will kind of give us insight into the future on what they're trying to set up and do. Now, what we have to keep in mind is we do have market makers and other firms in these portfolios. Now, market makers, they can make their money in many different ways in the stock market. But their main goal or their main objective, their purpose is to create the market for everyone. So they always have to have enough liquidity. They have to have enough shares, be prepared to write option contracts, things like that. So a lot of these tickers, they'll kind of look inverse of the actual market. And that is because those market makers are literally creating it and having, just getting extremely heavy in the influence of that ticker with the money that they slink around, for these larger cap stocks. So what we need to really look for is those either big moves or in their portfolios when they break above these support or resistance lines. So, we can see this resistance right here, and then, it had broke above it, slightly in the past and did its little thing and then just kind of played around. But once we kind of see this and kind of see the ranges that they trade in, for example, an easy one that I always like to look at is SPX, and I'm only going to look at this one for a second, but I just want to show you this. Just let this load up. Okay. So when I zoom out on the SPX, if I just bring my crosshairs down and I'm looking for support and resistances, you can see my hash lines. And you can see as it goes across, it makes a resistance. You can see that resistance. Sorry, don't make a resistance. It displays that resistance for us. So we can see that. And I can keep going down and keep seeing those ranges. And if we look way down here, you can see where they've always bounced up, to this point in their portfolios. And if you remember, for the longest time, I've been waiting for them to break this high right here. This high that they had around $4.6 million. I've been waiting for them, not million, billion, for them to break above $4.6 billion. And they finally did it. And because I've watched SPX so much in their portfolios, and I understand that these guys are usually inverse of the market because they have so much money, they can keep buying the dip and it's no big deal for them. If the market is just plunging, chances are you'll see this strong push up. It will look like buying in their portfolio. And it is. They're accumulating these massive positions in these tickers. And they're okay with it because, they're market makers. They can hold on to this forever. They make their money in so many different ways that's not possible for us. One huge way that they make their money is, on their exchanges that they own, executing those trades. They'll make that difference between the bid and the ask, even if it's just 1 cent. That's a lot of money. That 1 cent, just for every share or every option that they are actually trading, just moving that liquidity around, they make that money generated. And if you do that 20 million times a day, that shit adds up. So we need to always look and find those support and resistances, when we're at the very beginning of breaking down one of these tickers for our analysis. So I just wanted to quickly show you that with the SPX. This ticker, their portfolio has a lot of good support and resistance is, and that make just for great examples. And if you like go back and like look to kind of see like what did they do like when this was dropping, what was the market doing? While they were selling off in their portfolio, what was the market doing? Same thing for when it was pushing up in their portfolio. What was the market doing? And so, like for instance, let's just say right here, they start buying a lot. Chances are the market was probably pulling back. And then because I would have known my support and resistances, like because I can see it right here, I would have known that around 3.7 billion, so I can look over here and I'll see it light up like around 3.7 billion. I'll know this range right in here is a resistance. So during this period, we could see that it was catching that resistance. And chances are this was probably a bottom in the market. So actually, let's go ahead and take a look around before they started selling. They started selling around July 13th, somewhere in there, just ballparking it. Let's just take a quick look. So around July 13th, they started selling. And like I said, it was probably a bottom in the market. So the reason why they start selling is because they're already at break even or in profit. And again, they still have an obligation to make the market. So when they, for this example right here, SPX, and I know I'm looking at the SPY chart, but it's relatively the same thing. So the SPX wells, when they start to sell in their portfolios, chances are the market is going to go up because they're taking profits. They're always turning profits. They can hold on to that loss and they'll slowly, dollar cost average down to create that massive position. And then they'll just, start unloading it as the market goes up. They feed back into the system. That's what the SPX wells do. So let's look at Amazon, since that is what we are here for. All right, so Amazon. Let's see, I'm just finding it again. Just trying to just do it the easy way. Now I know on mine, I have the accumulated, but we just wanted to keep that there for other things that we use it for. It was messing too many people up. All right, so back to Amazon. So I look at their portfolio first for the big picture. I just want to see what they're doing, what they're getting into. And then I'll just kind of like look at the overall ticker, kind of see, okay, where's it at now? And then, I want to find out what has the stock done in the past. When they were selling their portfolio, what was the ticker doing? And so I would go, starting back to like right here around March 17th, right before they started, selling in their portfolio. I just want to take a look. So from around March 17th to about March 30th, I just want to see what they done overall. So looking at Amazon, I'm going to find March 17th to about March 30th. So here we are around the 17th, right here, and then up to about March the 30th. So right here, you can see the market for Amazon, went up a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but it went up. Now you can see that they were selling into that. Then it just kind of goes stagnant right here, and then they're just playing around doing whatever. But here's where it got serious. Now look over here. We break below the zero value. I mean, we're kind of just teetering on it for all this time, but we break below the zero value now. I mean, around November the 2nd, they just start selling off. So from November the 2nd to about December the 8th, we need to see what they done. So November the 2nd, they start that short position. So we see it, they start a short position right here, and they're building this massive ass position. So November the 2nd to December the 8th, be about right here. So go back to the 2nd. They closed out at $92.12 on the 2nd of November, and December 8th, they closed out at $90.35. With as much as they took short right here, their average price and them, averaging down through all of this shit right here, they got that short position up pretty nice to where when they started taking profits yesterday between the low of 85.21 to the high of 87.23, when you're talking anywhere, you're talking over $1 billion in a trade, and then, really over $2 billion in a trade short. And then they started taking profits. It looks like they had between, somewhere between 2 points to maybe a couple more points, just depending on how much they really loaded in back here on this push up. But as they unloaded, to create this like green candlestick, this is them covering, because really covering is still buying in the market. You're covering out those short shares. So it's going to look like buying in the market. So really, in my opinion, it just looks like they were just taking profits. I mean, they had a huge position here. They had a couple points of profit per share or options, whatever they have going on. And, what a nice way to take in that payday before Christmas. So what I'm looking at for Amazon overall is like this doesn't really scare me. I expect them to do more selling. Like as Amazon, keeps going down, in my opinion, I think it will. I expect that they'll start to really cover this position. Because they're already in profit. They started that short around November the 2nd. They're already in profit. And so as the market keeps going down for Amazon, in their portfolio, it's going to look like they're buying. And that's them just really covering. We can see them coming up from these, short positions, this negative balance, and we'll just have to see what it does in the future. Now, in the future, like I was saying about the support and resistances, we need to see, next, like what are they going to do right up in here, Are they going to, take that profit all the way up to here, and maybe Amazon gets a slight little bounce? So then, they take more of a short position. So it's going to look like they're selling more. Like, let's just say if Amazon makes a slight little move up in the days to come, is it going to get rejected right here? And then they start shorting it more, meaning like their candlesticks in their portfolio will start to print red and come down more. Or are they going to let it go, And that's what we're really just, looking out for right here. Now, I'm willing to bet that's what will probably happen, just by looking at the chart in this moment. So we'll just really have to see. So right now, I mean, I am still overall extremely bearish on Amazon and the market in general. For Apple, I just wanted to throw on that hedge just because we've seen how this market does crazy stuff. And there's just so much money built up into their portfolios right now. So I hope this helps. I'm sure you're going to have questions. Please ask me.